What was that flip of a switch moment that permanently changed your life or perspective?
When I was younger, I always had this thought that somebody was watching. Either I was big-headed or I was just really socially anxious. And this led me to not have many friends. I was always the odd kid, just like sitting there thinking everyone cares. So I started making YouTube videos for myself, because talking on a camera is different, okay? 700,000 subscribers, 75 live shows, and 3 years later, no matter how many people there were, I was always left with the same thought that somebody is there caring for me. They cared what I did, they cared about everything. And it wasn't until this year where I finally realized that nobody cares about you more than you. I would have friends come to me with advice and there's no one there to help them. And it just clicked with me. If we go through our entire lives with the constant thought that someone else cares, we are going to replace that with our own. We start depending on other people for gratification and love, when in reality the only happiness that we will truly feel is when it's from ourselves. Because for once in our lives, we're caring for the right reasons, to make ourselves happy. Care about yourself most, because other people are doing the exact same.
Don't get too comfortable. There's at least one guy she would leave you for.
Okay, sick flex. Literally the same thing applies to you. No matter the age, the gender, the sex, no matter what size it is or what size you are, there's always going to be somebody funnier, taller, with a bigger butt, bigger biceps, hotter or better looking than you. And especially nowadays, they're only a swipe away on Tinder or Bumble. So instead of sitting there thinking about, oh, how you can do better or your partner can do better, why don't you just cherish where you are now? Because I don't think you realize how vicious of a cycle that could be. Yes, we make fun of people who sleep around, but seriously, if you could get any person you want, why would you ever want to stop? Like, great, cool, good for you, I guess. The real flex is finding somebody who actually wants to stay. And when you find that, everyone who used to be better than just becomes another person. So you can sit there and brag all you want, but I don't think sitting there wanting somebody else is going to make you any happier.
When you're a guy, everybody expects you to be this, to be that, just be like nonchalant, not have any freaking feelings at all. You know, that's bullshit because I have feelings, man.
Oh man, I hear you. You're not alone. You see, it's not that people don't acknowledge that men have feelings. It's the fact that people always expect men to fix it themselves and know how to, which leaves us to suffer in silence because we are a coward if we tend to speak out. But I've been making content about how I feel since I was the age of 16, and this may be cringy, but this isn't for you, this is for me. This is for my future kids to look back so that they can know that they're not alone either. And even though I do get some hate comments or some people teasing me, it's really heartbreaking to see the amount of DMs come from guys asking me for advice on how to tell their parents that they have depression, or how they're having trouble loving their girlfriend because they're battling the demons inside. You see, I'm not here to give you this ultimate answer that's gonna solve all your problems. I'm just here to tell you that I'm here, that I hear you, that I care, and that I have feelings too. So you're not alone, even if you feel like it. Keep your head up.
You wanna know something weird? People always talk about how lonely they are on this app, but I'm like, why don't we all just be friends? We're all here.
I don't think being lonely is about not having friends. I don't think that's the scariest part, because ultimately having friends would just be the distraction of what the real problem is. So I think it comes down to a few things. One, it's kind of a trend to like complain nowadays, and I don't mean to make that sound rude, it just kind of is. It gets you likes, it gets you views, people do it. And two, I find that lonely people announce that they're lonely not because they need someone, but because they want someone to feel something for them, because they have worn themselves thin so much because they feel numb. And they've been trying to feel something for a while now. I just think it goes a little bit further than just wanting friends. I know that might be too deep, but maybe somebody understands. I never thought I'd be the one to feel lonely. I figured I would just bounce back into the midst of it all. But when I wake up in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see anyone. I miss seeing someone. I miss feeling something. I'm in my bed. I miss it all. Dear teenage boys, let's talk about weight. And this is for everyone. Skinny, big, tall, short, lanky, stubby, whatever fucking label is put beside your body. Just listen to me really quick. I grew up that skinny boy that everybody called anorexic. I would walk out of my room with my shirt off and my family would be like, ugh, I would clothe up. And all my friends would just tell me to eat more. I have eaten more. I have lifted heavier weights. My body is just different. And the reason why is because it's my body. And your body is different because it's yours. And I know that's something so simple, but I never really seemed to understand that as a teenager, and it ruined me. I would always look at other guys and wish I was different. But lately I've just accepted who I am and what I love to do, and I love to run and I love to bike, and that just requires a little bit of a slender body, and my body's built for that. I also think it's really important to idolize people in moderation. There are so many influencers out there who are on steroids, or they just have great genes for their body type and what they love to do. But guess what? So do you. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna wake up tomorrow and love the body you're in, but I hope you wake up tomorrow and understand that your body is built for something. It just might be different than the person that you idolize.
If you smile when you're alone, go to bed without waiting for anyone's message, and look good just for yourself, then you are winning at life.
Do people not understand yet that there's no winning? I understand what the guy's trying to say. I get it. It's weird that he's half naked filming a TikTok, but I get it. But if we win, it means that we're beating this competition. I understand the whole self-love, not waiting for someone's text. But that's the single life. There's a lot of people out there with partners and loved ones and parents and brothers and sisters and some people who are dying to get that text. So stop thinking that life is some game to win. It's about crying when something makes you sad. It's about smiling when something makes you happy, and not thinking that you need to be something that you're not. Life is not a game to win. It's something to live. I hope that makes sense. Dear teenage girls, I know I am not one, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to mansplain situations to you, don't worry. I am just here because I want to try and help connect people who may need each other. I think the best thing a girl can have is her friends, specifically her girls. So please, take this comment section and make it your own. Leave advice on sacrifice, love, belonging, or ask for help with whatever you're battling. I may not be a girl, but I do know that everyone deserves to feel like they're not alone, because you're not. And if you are battling something, trust me, others are too. So let's help each other. And what blows my mind is that one comment can save someone's life, and you may not even know it. I wear a wedding ring on my right hand to remind me to work in my relationships, and that they take hard work. And someday, I'm gonna move it over to my life. I don't text people back in the day because I want to sit down and actually have the conversation with them. I want to be there. I want to be present. I don't want to just text and forget. I like randomly giving people high fives throughout the day, because I know the littlest of things make the best days go bad. But I know the littlest of things make the bad days go amazing. And I could just be one of them. I love high fives. They're quick, they're easy. I ask my brother to go out and play every single day, because when we were kids, he would come home from school, being a teenage boy in high school, and I know when he was having a rough day, and I would ask him every single time to go out and play ball or play catch or anything, and I do it till this day. And almost every single time he says no, but I still ask. I make YouTube videos about my hardest times so that my kids can watch when they feel alone or feel like they're never gonna make it out, and they can understand that their dad went through it too. I talk about everything that I'm doing while I'm doing it, because it reminds me of being 8 years old. Oh, the greatest time. And it just reminds me to forget about the things that aren't present. I write poetry and books because after failing every single English class there was one teacher named Miss LP, and she doesn't even know it, but she's changed my entire life. She was the first teacher to tell me that I was an amazing writer because I wrote the way I spoke, and I didn't let any stat, fact, or anything get in the way of my thought. And I think of her every time I write, and all my books are dedicated to her without her even knowing. I haven't cried in 9 years because nothing was more difficult than that moment, and I'm stronger because of it. I drink energy drinks not because I need the caffeine, but because when everyone got drunk in high school, I wanted to fit in, but I didn't want to make my mom upset. My girlfriend thinks that I don't want to do morning cuddles in the morning when I jump out of the bed, but I jump out of bed because it's the only thing that starts my day right. That little bit of energy helps me love her more. It makes people uncomfortable, but I look them in the eyes when they talk the whole entire time, because I want them to know that I'm not only listening, but I'm here to help if they need it. I don't like being touched, so when I have to hug someone, I give them 3 strokes on the back, hoping that they're gonna let go because I think it's a little too long. My mom calls me every day at 4 p.m. and every single time I answer doing an impression of Batman or Christopher Walken or the Joker or something funny. Because she's a nurse in the OR and sometimes she loses a child in surgery and it's really a gamble if she's having a good day or not. So I try to make it a little bit better. I pet my dog every time I pass him because I want him to know he belongs and that I love him because one day he won't be there. When you lose someone you love, you seem to find every cloud on a sunny day. You seem to hit every red traffic light on the road and no mirror can leave you satisfied. Because losing someone you love isn't about death. It's about living in a world that moves on without them. I'm in my bed. And that's the hardest part. You're not here.
If you're a guy, no one cares about you genuinely. People only like you for your money, how tall you are, how strong you are, how successful you are. I've realized in life, people only support me when it's beneficial. So then that makes me realize, who do I really have in this world?
I am all for emotional videos, but let's not host a pity party for men. Instead of putting the blame onto others, let's put it into your perspective. If you're saying no one around you treats you the way that you want to be treated, then why are you there? Everything is easier said than done, no shit. But why are you there? I'm a man and I'm proud to say that I'm surrounded by people who love me and care for me. And it took a while to get there, but I'm proud about it. No, it's not for my money, my height, or my strength. The day I got off my ego train of everybody needs me, but everybody hates me, and the day I started to surround myself with people who value me as well as I value them, and it's not for their money, their strength, or their height, but for them just being there, that's the day I actually enjoyed waking up. Value others as much as yourself, and you might actually enjoy it.
75 hard.
Why work out if I don't do this for a sport? I think it's in my blood. At 2, I shot my first basketball. At 3 years old, I started skating. At 4, I started swimming. And at 5 years old, I started playing lacrosse. And the list goes on. So what do I do now? I'm a poet and an author. Now, I know it doesn't add up. I know it doesn't make sense. But the things that make us happy usually don't make sense. Otherwise, they wouldn't make us happy. They would just make us overthink. I'm not working to be the best athlete in a sport I don't play anymore. I am doing this to make all the sad voices go away. It just helps. From the first day that I met you, you felt like a familiar face. We used to swing together as kids. We used to skip class together as teens and fall in love by the beach. And even when everyone was around me, you were the one I would miss. Because this isn't the first time we are meeting. I'm in my bed. Because you were the one all the dreams were about. You were the girl I fell in love with. When I was younger, I would look up to my father and see my future. One that is bright and so full of life. And as the years went on, the laughs started to fade, the hair started to fall, and the man started to shrink. However, it wasn't just my father after all. Every man I passed by had a little less hair and was a little less tall, leaving me to wonder, is this going to be my future once and for all? Dear teenage boys, the one thing that I had a really hard time with growing up was comparing my body to other guys. Whether that was a celebrity or the actors in the movies or just a friend that was in the locker room or somebody I played hockey with. And you know what? I was awful for it. And maybe that's because that they were constantly comparing their body to mine. The only difference was, as when I was staying silent, they would continue to voice their opinion on how I looked and how they felt about it. They were a little loud, and that stuck with me. Saying I was too skinny, or I was anorexic, or I just need to eat more. So my advice to the skinny boys is this: be like a fart. Silent but deadly. And people will continue to voice their insecurities that they have about themselves. And so the only thing that you need to do is worry about you, because you're doing just fine. And one day you will look stronger than ever while they're over there rocking a beer body because they never made it in the sport that they always bragged about. Just keep doing you.
These are some things guys wish girls understood. They're so compliment deprived. Like, they never get compliments. So if you compliment them, it will mean the absolute world to them, and they'll probably never forget it. So
You're right. We're probably not going to forget about that moment, but we're also probably not going to accept it. I don't know if I have the right words for this, but I'm just going to try. It's not that men don't get compliments often. It's that we tend to believe them as lies. Sometimes we hear it as just something that someone says just to be nice and to get it over with. A lot of times we don't hear it as genuine. I mean, why would a girl want to compliment us in the first place? We're monsters. A lot of guys live the traditional life and they live to please their girl. Call it simp or call it being a gentleman. They try. Now, whether it's imposter syndrome or just never feeling good enough for you, or they feel guilty for not complimenting you first, the only compliment that guys really truly accept is when it's from their boys. Because we know they're not lying, and we know that they don't want anything in return. It's sad, but it's true.
One in 400 trillion. The odds of you actually existing. And you still sit here and question whether your life is worth living?
You see, I don't believe in luck. I believe that everything happens for a reason. Don't think that you're lucky to be here. Don't think that you owe someone anything in return. Don't think that you don't deserve to be here. You see, we often forget how amazing we are. Even thinking about the little things like walking and not tripping over and smashing your head into a million pieces. Or even the harder times when you lose someone and it's a little hard to wake up the next day. And you do, and you're still here. And the reason why is because you deserve this. 1 in 400 trillion. And you still deserve to be here. Be proud of that. This one is for the girls. Now, I know I'm not one, but I just want to say that I'm sorry. Now, my mama raised a very, very respectful man. But growing up, I was always under the impression that women were supposed to have no body hair. Straight white teeth, tiny waist, and a big butt. Whatever I saw on TV, that's how I thought it was. So I'm saying sorry not only for me, but on behalf of the entire world, treating you differently because of this. Being with my partner has taught me so much. I've unlearned and I've learned so much. Hair is natural. Hips have dips. Thighs have zits, and hair comes with those pits. So a nice big to media, because it's finally hit me that women are even way more beautiful than what the media portrays. And you can call me a simp because I'm happy to be one. I got the girl in my dreams on my arm and I'm happy about it. I hear you. But no, I may not understand you, but I hear you. When one of your friends is breaking down, the most common question that I receive is, how can I help them? And it's a tough situation to be in because I don't believe there's any certain amount of words that can form this perfect phrase that's gonna make everything okay. Or no specific hug that can make all the pain go away. I think the answer is simple, but it's difficult to act on. Just be there. Be there to make them feel heard. Be there to make them feel valued. Be there to experience not only the good times, but the bad times as well. Don't be the friend that's just there for that highlight reel. Just be there. Dear teenage boys, let's talk about girls. I grew up learning about women on the TV and on the hub, which I know it sounds bad, but when you're a shy kid, you learn on your own. I'm making this video so you stop comparing women to unrealistic standards that social media and TV portrays. Like, girls have hair. Girls come in all different shapes and sizes, and that's normal. And before you think that you're better than, think about all the insecurities that you're battling. Hair falling out, hair growing in weird places, gaining weight, stress about how you look, or does your body not look like Zac Efron's on the cover, minus this whole face situation. You see, we all share these in common. So when it comes down to it, don't be so quick to judge when it's not what you saw on the hub. And I want to end it with something simple. If you have a question about a girl, ask her politely. Don't judge her, especially when you're crusty between the toes and you never shower.
Love or lust, which one are you feeling? That person that you're thinking about, if they were to ever get in a car accident or a horrible accident of any kind, and their face was to get messed up, would you still want to be with them?
It always starts out as lust. I know there's a lot of hopeless romantics out there who are quickly gonna jump to this and argue with me and say that they knew that they loved that person. And trust me, I was like that too. But as the line goes, love at first sight, which means appearance. And as you grow with them, that lust hopefully turns to love. And it's not always easy. Sometimes it takes a lot of unlearning for yourself to be able to open up and grow with someone else. So this type of love that she speaks on is not at first sight. It's built over several months where you chose to say, when leaving could have been so easy. That's love.